You're listening to The Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Now trending? Fall. And DSW's here with all the obsession-worthy shoe trends you need in your closet. Feeling fierce? DSW's got bold snake print boots and a retro sneaker with animal print details. Going for demure? Kitten heels are the eye-catching yet walkable heel all over your feet and all over DSW. From edgy moto boots to sweetly simple ballet flats, find the must-own shoe trends of the season right now at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Los Angeles. Here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NBA, we had a pair of season-opening games with the defending champion Celtics rolling over the Knicks 132-109. Boston raised their championship banner, passed out their rings, and then hit an NBA record tying 29 three-pointers. Jason Tatum led the Celtics with 37 points. He had 8 three-pointers, dished out 10 assists. In his New York debut, Karl Anthony Towns had 12 points and 7 rebounds in the loss. Lakers topped the Timberwolves 110-103. LA's Anthony Davis led the way with 35 points and 16 rebounds. LeBron James had 16 points. His son, Bronny, had no points, but did play 3 minutes, so they become officially the first father-son duo to ever play in an NBA game together. Minnesota's Julius Randle in his debut with the team, 16 points and 9 rebounds in defeat. Sad news from baseball, where former Dodgers legend Fernando Valenzuela has passed away. In 1981, he burst on the scene, won the Rookie of the Year, the NL Cy Young Award, and was part of a World Series championship. Fernando Valenzuela passing away at the age of 63.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick you, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Today's edition, the playbook is Would You Rather and Wild Card Wednesday. Was A.J. McCarron's comments fair? Is Georgia back on top, officiating in the SEC and across the country? Can Bama right the ship, the SEC in general, and more?
All right. Good morning. Glad you've jumped up and Adam with us bright and early on this Hump Day edition, Wild Card. Would you rather? Wednesday, we are glad that you have chosen to be with us. You know, lots and lots to talk about. Love to have you kind of jump in on the conversation with us. 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions hotline. So, we love to hear from you, and that powers us each and every day. And Box Eye Care helps make that happen. Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. Go check them out, 205-342-0660. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, their priority. They'll take care of you, especially with that new lab they have right there. And they will make sure that you get all of the services that you need. And in most cases, you can get in and out because they have that in-house lab. And you have such a great inventory to choose from in less than an hour. But either way, check out Box Eye Care, boxeyecare.com. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. All right, X. Oh, yeah. We also need to start getting some score predictions. Alabama, it's rough. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, we've had a loss, but last week we did have a winner, in the fact that Pat picked Tennessee to win. So the score was wrong and off and all of that, but, he's the only one that picked Alabama to lose. So, that shows you we wear some serious crimson colored glasses, and we're all delusional if Pat's the only one that's picking Alabama to lose. So, so anyway, X, I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah. Well, I think we should start it off with A.J. McCarron's comments. Do you have those?
Yeah, I mean, he had several different things to say. One being, that he is, he said, it's hard because I like the kid. He was asked, this week while on the McCready and Siskey show, to break down, Alabama before the Milroe's recent play. And so I don't know if it was, I didn't hear the exact question, so I don't know if the question was, what do you think about it overall or recent play? But either way, here's what AJ had to say in one point, and we may have others. But it's hard because I like the kid a lot, and I think he's a good college player. Don't know what that means, but yet, McCarron said he's just not the quarterback he wants to be, which is fine. Okay? There are many different quarterbacks now, but when have seen, when have we seen him be accurate? I've been saying it from the get-go. He hasn't progressed from last year to this year in any form.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah. Because he didn't say he regressed the last 3 games. He said, it's hard because I like the kid. He's not just the quarterback he wants to be, which is fine. Which, does that mean he's trying to be something he's not? I don't know. And he says there are many different quarterbacks now, which means that AJ is acknowledging that he's a different style quarterback. So you can kind of see those two. He didn't come out and say he's not a pocket passer, which is fine, because there's different quarterbacks now. Well, there's always been different quarterbacks. Oh, but there hasn't been different style quarterbacks. There's always been the pocket passer guy. I don't know if that's what he meant or not, but when he says, but when have we seen him be accurate? And I've been saying it from the get-go. And then he says he hasn't progressed from last year to this year in any form. X, Chase, I'm going to ask your thoughts too, but I mean, that last statement, like I can look at all the other ones and say, okay, those are opinions, but that last one is pretty rough.
Yeah, and just factually not true. We've never seen him be accurate. He completed 81% of his passes against Georgia. Until this past week, he was completing 73% of his passes. And if I'm not mistaken, that's better than probably AJ's best season. I'm just making an astute observation.
Yeah. So everybody was saying that he was getting better.
I just pulled it up. If he finished the season completing the same percentage of passes he's completing now after the worst game of the season, if he just stayed where he's at 68.6%, that would be 1% higher than AJ ever did at Alabama. So I guess AJ wasn't accurate at Alabama either, by his own standard.
Yeah, here's Chase. What's your thoughts?
I think the timing of it is weird, especially when Alabama is having a weird season. A lot of players have spoken out, like Mark Ingram. I know Damian Harris had said something that went viral a couple weeks back, and now AJ McCarron. You should be uplifting the team. I believe in criticism, but to say that, he's not the quarterback that he needs to, like he wants to be, how do you know that? Like, I understand you're a great year in Alabama. We're not knocking that, but to say that, I feel like that's a little shade a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it weird, but I'm a little taken back from it. Just kind of the way he's critiquing Jalen a little bit.
Yeah. Here's the question, that I have. Like I said, you go back, and look at it. And like I said, man, this is the time to critique Jalen. Because something has to change. Either he has to get better or the team needs to make a change. I mean, you can't continue in this trend. I just want to know why the trend happened. He peaked at 81.8% against Georgia. He was 27 of 33 passes, and he had a couple drop passes. And I've heard people say, well, Ryan Williams made a couple great catches. Well, that first great catch where he tipped the ball to himself, he should have caught it in stride. He made a great catch, but the ball hit him right in the hands, both hands. And he just tipped it up to himself and then turned around, spun around and all that. So he made it a great catch, but it could have been a routine catch and it would have been a 6 if he had caught it clean. But my point behind that is I've asked this question. What changed after the first half of the Georgia game? Because here's what's happened since the Georgia game. Ever since his completion percentage has dropped, 75% against Vanderbilt, 69.6 against South Carolina, and 55.6 against Tennessee. Now, our play calling has obviously changed since the first half of this Georgia game. So I think it's Peter Burns on SEC Network. He said that this team could make it at 10-2. He said, but they have had inconsistent play calling. To me, the last 3 games, what happened after we beat Georgia? Everybody started saying, we need to get the running backs involved. And so we tried that against Vanderbilt, and it went down. With 75% is still really, really good. And then he goes against South Carolina in 69.6. It's still better than most guys in the league. Beck is considered the pocket passing genius of this draft class, and he's at 71, 72%. He was third going into last weekend. He was third behind Jalen, and I don't know, I think maybe Dart or somebody. I don't know who was the number 1 accuracy guy. So, and then Tennessee was just unexcusable. I mean, his play, the play calling, the choice of the receivers, releasing the ball. There was a couple times where it looked like he saw the right guy. He played bad in that game. But to come out and say this kid hasn't grown any since he started, that's the part that probably got me of all of AJ's criticism. He hasn't progressed from last year to this year in any form. Last Saturday, he didn't look like it. But if you go back and look at the body of work, that's such a bad take by an Alabama great. And I've told everybody, I think if AJ McCarron played in today's game, AJ McCarron would be, he'd be better than Mac Jones was. If you put AJ, I'd take AJ in that Mac Jones offense and he would smoke, Mac Jones in my opinion. So I have no disdain for AJ, and I have no problem with his critique because it's his opinion. I just disagree with some of it. He has regressed, and last week there looked like there had been, if he had said last week, when I watched last week, and it's possible he could have said that, in the media today, they'll edit your comments, man. They'll edit your comments, and we know that. But if he had said, when I watched last week, and that may have been the way the question was asked, there doesn't appear to have been any progress, I could say, okay. But if you look at the body of work this year, the kid has improved. Does he still have work to do? Absolutely. Is he a different style quarterback? Absolutely. That's my thoughts. Wrap it up and we'll get to break.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Jalen's numbers through the season, he's only had 3 games below 70% completion percentage, and one of those was a 69.8. But we'll talk more about it, and he's only had 1 game below 60%. So I don't, hopefully it was just talking about last game. Otherwise those comments are kind of bad, but we'll continue this conversation on the side, and we'll hit the Empowerment Strategy Solutions hotline when we get back.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very warm hello to you on this Wednesday. Getting on to a bit of a tight start on Joe Malisham at Culver Road. That intersection's a busy one right now, and it's also causing a bit of a delay on Foster's Ferry Road. Otherwise, traffic is moving smooth on the rest of the freeways. We're looking at
Tide Tailgate Show on 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230. Roll Tide.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment
Enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoor store is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Alabama's long dry spell continues today. The sky's sunny, the high 82. Clear tonight with the low at 56. Very warm tomorrow and Friday. A good supply of sunshine both days. Highs between 83 and 86 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 52 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in. You're back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. And we're powered by Box Eye Care. And I want to be fair to AJ. I just took, that part of it. And I want to go into the rest of his comments, X, because some of his other comments, he's critiquing Jalen, but he is critiquing Jalen from the traditional passer role. And some of the things he says makes total 100% sense. And if he sees some of this stuff, is it coaching or is it Jalen, and you just have to deal with it? He said McCarron attended the Texas game and thought Milroe looked like he was trying to prove he's a passing quarterback. That was over a year and some change ago. That's not his forte. That's not his positive. Watch this. His biggest positive is also his biggest negative. Why is it his biggest negative? Milroe McCarron said Milroe's biggest positive is that of many quarterbacks in college football. Nobody can run like Milroe. In other words, A.J. McCarron just said the biggest negative in college football is a running quarterback, a quarterback who can run the ball. That's what he just said, right? McCarron said Milroe's biggest positive is that of many quarterbacks in college football. Nobody can run like that. His biggest negative is he doesn't use his feet enough. So, cool. So if AJ says his biggest negative, his biggest positive is his biggest negative, and that is that he's not using his feet enough, well, he did use his feet enough in the Georgia game, and it resulted in 28 points. It resulted in 81% completion. It resulted in multiple touchdowns, 2-2 for the fourth game in a row. And since then, we've not seen that. He goes back, and then he did talk about he throws it over the top of his feet, and he does have some mechanic issues. But one of the worst mechanic issues guys ever was Phillip Rivers. Some guys, you just can't change your mechanics. Lamar Thomas had mechanic issues, and they just said, well, that's just going to be the way he plays. You build around it, and that's what AJ seems to be saying. But then AJ goes on to say that he does have a tendency, and we saw this with Jalen Hurts, they escape the pocket the same way. In meaning every time, instead of stepping up in the pocket, he rotates, he fades to the right, he stiff arms. So AJ is nailing that aspect of it, X. And he says defenses start to learn that. And if you watch it, there was a couple times in the game against Tennessee that that Jalen could have just split the defense up the middle. There was nobody there. But he still faded to the right. So I wanted to make sure that I was fair to AJ on both sides of the issue. But AJ also went on to call for the possibility of a quarterback change and said this is the time. But here's the telling point of this statement. He said he needs to be a 1-2 read guy and go. So he's saying that they shouldn't coach him up. And he says, now you have an opportunity if you want to make a quarterback change. If you feel more confident in Ty running, listen to this, your true offense in throwing the football. That tells you that AJ is watching this, a quarterback, and going, oh, they're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, but they didn't do that through the first half of the Georgia game. They were running to Milroe's strengths. Your thoughts, and then we'll get to our callers.
No, I mean, with the entire encompassing of the conversation, AJ's not wrong in a lot of areas. The hasn't progressed since last year, I think, is just blatantly wrong if you've actually watched him. Now, if you haven't been to a game and seen him in person since Texas and you just flipped it back on, it almost seems like, sure, I can see how you could come up with that conclusion. But yeah, if you're trying to fit Jalen into a system that doesn't work for him, like we saw at the beginning of last year, Ty is the better option.
Potentially.
We think.
Potentially. Ty is a better passer. We have to start redefining the word quarterback. We have to stop saying quarterback as if running quarterbacks and athletic quarterbacks aren't quarterbacks.
Right.
That's the part that bothers me probably about the whole conversation, and not just Jalen, just the dual threat quarterback is a quarterback. He just has a different skill set. We don't say, well, what's his name is not a running. Derrick Henry is a running back, so we don't say Derrick Henry is not a good running back because he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield a lot or that he doesn't slash a lot. We just describe him as the type of running back he is. Herschel Walker is the greatest example to me of what happens to dual threat quarterbacks in most schemes today. You don't remember this, but Herschel Walker, if you gave him 18 to 20 catches, touches, he was an average running back. But his last 10 catches between 18 to 28, he would have 150 yards rushing. Because guys got tired of hitting him. But if you just let him, he might break one. He might or might not in that first 18. But he was guaranteed that if you kept feeding the beast, he was going to break one. Because guys got tired of hitting him. And that's the same way with Derrick Henry. Same thing with dual threat guys. Let's get to Pat. You're on with Martin and Xavier on the Empowerment Strategy and Solution Hotline. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, Martin. Man, AJ wasn't as rough on him as that other guest that the Bearded Wonder had. Man, hey, and you might be the Bearded Wonder too. I don't know. Y'all 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. I don't know. But both of y'all got great beards. But hey, I wanted to say that that guy was I mean, he like I said, I told you the other day, I felt sorry for our quarterback after that guy got through talking, and I don't think it's fair because it's not that they haven't been, a lot of these short passes and stuff have been dropped. It ain't that they that far out of the catch radius of the players that he's throwing to. This week I've got us rebounding, and I've got it 42 for Alabama and 21 for Missouri, and us winning by 3 touchdowns. And the seats in Vegas, they've got this game at about 13.5. Isn't that correct?
It was somewhere in that range. What do you have? Pat, for Jalen's completion percentage?
Jason's, I don't know that he's going to start. But if he does start and he does play, if he plays,
the quarterback, just whoever you think the quarterback is, whatever.
Alabama's quarterback percentage this week is going to be much higher, whether Jalen plays or whether he doesn't play. And if he does play, I'm going to put him at about 62%.
That's not too good, but for either guy.
Well,
thanks,
I mean, and hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's right. Well, we dropped from 70% down to 55, so maybe we can go back up that same percentage.
Yeah. How about that? Hey, can I call the board? Can I call the board and find out what I won? Because I won a few times last year that I never did to get to collect my swag.
Do what? You don't win. It's the end of the year. I don't give it away every week.
Oh, okay.
So the more times you win, the more chances you have. I got
a pool ball in the bag. Then I got you.
Yeah. Philip from Phoenix won. Phoenix City, I think, is where he's from. But he was supposed to come over. He hadn't got his either. So, but we'll be back in touch with you. Thanks, Pat.
All right, I got you. Bye bye.
All right, we have Alan on the line to talk about AJ's comments. How you doing this morning, Al?
Hey, good morning. You know what? All these people that's going against back right now, you got your hat, get your coat. I'm glad that they came out of the woodwork. I'm glad they're out there. So when Bama starts winning again and Milroe starts doing his thing again, I don't want to hear the positive styles. Oh, I knew he could do it. I knew he had it in him. I don't want to hear it. If you jump ship now, keep on selling. Because we don't need it. We don't need the negative vibe right now. Okay, this is a first year coach. This is a first year coach. The defense can do better. Yeah, all these people are new. We got freshmen out there. You know, come on, give these guys a break. They're gonna get it together. You pay this man all this money. Everywhere he's went, he has won. I mean, I was one of the ones that didn't like him to begin with, but I like him more and more now. He is not jump ship. He is not James quarterback. If Milroe is hurt, yes, by all means, change it. But if he's not hurt, you stick with him and you ride the ship. You put him in there and you ride the ship with him.
Can't disagree.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. And you know what, Alan? The thing about it is, you won't hear them jumping back on the ship because they were never on the ship with Jalen.
Exactly.
They just sat quiet. They just sat quietly and didn't have anything to say when he was playing his butt off. And like I said, I dug deep on several of these people that have big accounts and stuff like that. They were radio silent when he was at the top of his game. Now that he stumbled, now it's time to come out and talk about him.
You know, and the one that's talking bad about him, especially these people on the radio and TV and stuff, they were Bama haters to begin with. And they were just sitting out waiting, you know, for Bama to go down. And now, the dynasty's over, this and that. Okay, it may be over. But you know what? These are kids, and I'm going to ride with the Tide. I've been riding with them since Albert Means. I've been riding with them since 1979. Been riding with them since the dad was there. You know, I go all the way back to Lenny Patrick and all them guys. You know, so I was down there when Antonio signed with the agent. You know, you know, hey, if you're a Tide fan, you're a Tide fan. Stop being a fair weather fan. That's all I'm saying.
All right, thanks, Alan. As we get to break here, I want to remind you to go check out Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. You can find them at that location. On the web at DixieBatterySupply.com. They buy junk batteries and a whole lot more. You don't ever have to feel powerless again. So go check out DixieBatterySupply.com. We'll tell you more about them later on in the program.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very warm hello to you on this Wednesday. Getting on to a bit of a tight start on Joe Malisham at Culver Road. That intersection's a busy one right now, and it's also causing a bit of a delay on Foster's Ferry Road. Otherwise, traffic is moving smooth on the rest of the freeways.
69 North and Northport, just before Carroll's Creek Baptist Church. Sponsored by Cypress Supply, Military Surplus R Us, Junction Grocery, and Northwest Supply.
Visit the pharmacy at Midtown. That's the pharmacy at midtown.com. TJ and his team are looking for the opportunity to provide you with great services, including compounding, home delivery, and a whole lot more. You're looking for a great pharmacy that'll take care of all of your needs, including wellness classes, including health, and more. That's the pharmacy at Midtown. Call them at 205.
Have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com.
Many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit MyLocalCustomers.com. That's MyLocalCustomers.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we kick off the second half. Still got a lot to talk about, from officiating to culture to is Georgia back on top for good? But before we do any of that, we've got Todd joining us on the Power Administrative Solutions Hotline. How you doing this morning, Todd?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call. I tell you, I don't think I've ever known not one major league slugger go through a slump. You know, sometimes it's just a game, sometimes it's a 2 or 3 game slump. You know, so nobody's going to be harder on themselves than Milroe. I can guarantee that, and I just hope and pray that he gets back to that mentality of the Lank mentality. Let all the naysayers know, and really, shows everybody what he can do this week right here moving forward. It's a mindset game. You guys know that. It's got to get your mind right. And with all that noise, what does Saban always called it? Rat poison. And so
they don't have rat poison right now. They getting a full dose of non-rat poison right now.
I believe he's going to be fine, man. I became his biggest fan probably Texas A&M, his first start 2 years ago, and I believe in that kid. And he's gonna be fine in my book. I would not pull him. I don't think the board has any thoughts in his mind about pulling him at all. I think you're gonna go with your slugger. You're not gonna pull your slugger out of the game. You're gonna leave him in there because you know he's gonna hit the home run.
Yeah.
100%. We appreciate it, Ty. Oh, wait, do you have a score for us?
think he may be gone.
All right, he's gone. Ty calls back in and gives us a score. No, just thinking about this, with the way things are going for Jalen, can he rebound? Can he block it all out? Can he overcome the last few weeks?
Well, for you and I mean, Jalen's been dealing with this. It's just been more magnified this week. So I think he's been dealing with it the whole time, and I think he'll respond. Like I said, I can't explain it. I mean, there's a let me see. We had a new person respond. Boza Nova Dude 169 said he was accurate on 4th and 31. A drop back passer 45 times is not who he is, and he failed miserably at Tennessee. Yeah, we all see this, right?
Right.
And AJ even said that's not his strength. I just can't get over how you throw the ball 45 times. I wonder how many times, if you took in the history of Alabama, did we win time of possession Saturday?
Yep.
Let that sink in. The one time we win time of possession, we threw the ball 45 times. Okay. So it makes no sense. I mean, I don't get it. And you think about every time that we dropped the ball, had an incomplete pass, it slowed the clock a little bit. So if we had ran the ball a little bit more and things like that, we'd had even more time of possession. I don't get it, Ax. It's been a struggle for me, and I'm just trying to figure out, and Crimson forever asked, was there ever a time in the locker room that the team was divided? No, because we had great leadership. I'm assuming he's talking about Alabama. The time we got embarrassed by Florida 35-0, we called a players meeting and we pretty much told everybody if they weren't willing to buy in, then they could go. They could leave. But we had a bunch of Alabama guys mixed with a bunch of guys that wanted to play for the Crimson Tide, not a bunch of guys that came here just to get to the NFL. So when we threw out the gauntlet, you were playing for that Crimson jersey, it really did mean you were playing for the Crimson jersey. We didn't call a Bama standard because Bama had won. We called a Bama standard and Crimson Challenge X because we were Alabama. That makes sense. So when we were saying it, guys like Derek Lassick was my roommate. He was from New York, but his dad was from Alabama, right? And so his family had family in Alabama. So he got the Crimson Tide, Prince Wembley and those guys had from Miami, but they had chosen to come from Miami up to Alabama, and there was no guarantee of getting to the NFL. This was just, I want to play for the Crimson Tide. So it was interesting, a little different. And speaking of that standard X, I think CJ Dupree kind of hits what I may be concerned with. And I don't know when that started going awry. Was it during the season? Was it during the off season? Did they ever do that? Was it, did the tucking in the shirt, was that a Saban thing? I've never heard that. So, like he literally seems to say that the board was calling them to a standard of being at practice on time, being at team meetings on time, going to class, getting back to shirts tucked in at practice. Undoubtedly, so either Saban was asking for those things and DeBoer didn't, and he's calling DeBoer out, or DeBoer asked, and I don't know which one it is, Ax.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw CJ's comments, and it was focusing back on the little things. And sometimes when you go through adversity, when you go through hard times, you got to focus on the small things. And so maybe that's it. And now if you're showing away from meeting, you're just or late to practice, you're hurting your team, you're hurting yourself, and that's inexcusable.
Well, but that's what's been the problem with this team is they're doing selfish stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of this is about me. But that's what people forget, X. and we can kick our topics to tomorrow. That's okay. What people aren't saying is, how did Saban recruit the majority of these guys? What was his message?
Come here and I can get you to the NFL.
So he recruited them to win championships and go to the NFL, right?
Right.
One of those is all about them. The other one is either bought into or not. And if you lose one or two games and you don't think you can get there, that motivation is now gone, right? So then that turns everything from, if you're not playing for Alabama and the pride of the university, and you're only playing for the NFL, and you already have hundreds of millions of dollars potentially, especially the superstar players, is it possible that is a slight problem that is created by the prior regime that the board's trying to wean out of? I don't know.
No, I mean, that's a good question. But before we get a break, let's get a Q06 in to talk about Jalen. How you doing, Jalen? Q.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Hey, listen, man. Before the season, we named off some captains on the team, and one of those captains is Milroe. So, man, leadership, seeing the things of people not tucking in their shirt tails or doing all these other things, I got to take it back to the leadership of those captains. I'm understanding that Nick Saban never named captains to the end of the season. He kind of went off of what you did during the year. Kicking a football because we didn't win the game, Malachi Moore, that's a captain. That's not leadership role. Got Deontay Lawson. I mean, he's over there. He's supposed to be cheering him up on the defense. He said, "Don't get behind on these drives." When have we seen him pull him to the sideline, all 11 guys on the field, and talk to them? Leadership. I'm just not seeing that. But I do want to mention one thing, Marcus. I know you played.
Before you move on, great observation. Great observation.
I appreciate it. And, everybody's talking about, Milroe right now, he's not playing like himself. He's throwing the football 45 times. Tell him, Martin, you took a hit in football and college football. Is it easy to get back up and keep getting hit and get back up? Have you been, you the fullback?
He might be the wrong person to ask.
No.
Have you been that guy that you went up the middle and guy came and lit you up? And maybe you kind of thought second about running again or going back up there because this guy just lit you up.
Well, it wasn't that I had that. I never had that happen the way you're describing it, but that was my entire mentality against the other guy because of what you're pointing out. Like you're saying, can somebody punk you out? I mean, my entire goal every game, Q06, was to make that guy quit. And I can tell you, I'll tell you, there was one game, I talked about the La Tech game. By the end of the game, Q06, I was like, crap, these guys won't quit.
Let me give you reasons why I said that because last week, no one wants to admit it, but when he walked onto the field and warm up, dude had a little bit limp to him. It was like, man, I got to go out here and get hit like this again. I'm just throwing the ball. I'm going to throw the ball 45 times because I'm not fishing to take these hits. But here's the other half of it. You got two great running backs back there. Milroe, you ain't got to take all the hits, man. You ain't got to throw the football 45 times. Just run that veer offense. Run that RPO, man. I mean, and hand it off. I think sometimes
that's what I agree, man. Great call. I agree, but I don't think we called the RPOs in the read options. That's what in the prior game.
He didn't want to get hit. He didn't want to get hit. He got hit hard that last game. I went back and looked at the game. He took some hits. And I know it's week 6. Yeah, South Carolina. I know it's week 6. I mean, everybody done took some hits.
But the question I have for you, Q06, is, and this was, I talked to a coach yesterday, and the coach said that he's not sure that Milroe's parents haven't said something about taking hits. Now, this wasn't the Alabama coach. He didn't coach at Alabama. But he talked about Miro's dad in the bleachers and that response and all of that. And he said, I'm not sure. Actually, he asked me, he said, is it possible that after that Georgia game, he was so high that they told them? Because the play calling is drastically different. So either they changed their mind, talking about the coaching staff, Q06, or Jalen said, I'm not running it anymore.
Well, anyway, there's the captain on the field. He's making some decisions, and he's got some pull because he's one of the four that can talk to the coach that way. And the coach is supposed to tailor the offense around what he wants to do. I'm just telling you, man, that you take a few of those hits and you start second guessing about running the ball. And I mean, that's my personal opinion. When I watched the game, I went back and watched the game again. With the exception, one play early on in the game where he took off for a sprint and got tripped. He wasn't trying to run. He was trying to throw the ball. He's trying to avoid contact. And, I mean, that ain't Milroe. That's not how he plays. That's not him.
And that's why I said he's either hurt or somebody has told him not to do it or they've changed their offensive philosophy around him.
Somebody hit him hard, man. I'm telling you, you go up the middle and this is the SEC. Listen, man, I ain't played football in 30 years. T.R. Miller hit me one night in a playoff so hard, I still think about it now. You know, and so.
Oh my goodness!
Listen, it's 30 years ago, and I ain't running no veer. I ain't running in 4-hole ever again because of that hit.
Q06. Hold on, I have to get to break, but man, please call back. Your call, the call of the year, man. I mean, I'm telling you,
guys. Love the love, and y'all take care, man. Second time caller, love the show. Thank you.
Oh man, Q06. Hey, I'm sorry. We have to get to break. Oh man, I'm Philip. I'm sorry, I can't. Hey, let's get the break. We'll come back, Philip. We'll get you in really quick. Then I have a short message I want to share for the Christian Moment of the Week.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, it's Gary Harris. Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It's the Hump Day edition of the program, and we're going to have Mac Holter on talking NASCAR, plus Larry the Music Man, and we'll have a football guest as well. Your phone calls, too. The phone calls have been happening this week. That's the Gary Harris Show, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We got a little volume trying to happen right now on McFarland at Main Avenue, that intersection. Getting a little tight, but that's just intersection delays. And then we're also looking at 359, just a bit slow on that southbound hookup to Skyland Boulevard. In the meantime,
let's take control of our future. Vote Republican. Paid for by the Tuscaloosa County Republican Party. P.O. Box 2643, Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35403.
Houston Hydrosteam. That's Houston Hydrosteam. Quality work you can stand on. Whether you're looking for carpet and upholstery cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, residential or commercial water damage, and a whole lot more, you need to call Houston Hydrosteam at 205-553-9460.
This week only, trick-or-treat candy starts at $5.99, costumes from $15, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout. Food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road just past Sokol Park. That's The Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back in. We're back in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. It's now time for our Christian Moment of the Week, courtesy of Harvest Church. I'm going to go ahead and do something normally don't do, but Philip was patiently waiting. Philip, I give you about 60 seconds, man. Take it away.
Hey, I like the players and the coaches' comments a little bit, but they've got to use their heads, Martin, and what they say. When they say things like, well, we're trying to tighten up on things like being on time, and tucking our shirts in. All that does, that causes a chum. That's the chum getting thrown out in the ocean. Don't throw out chum. Use your head. Don't even say stuff like that. That makes people be tempted to think that it's just a renegade, lazy bunch over there. And that's not the case. But use your head before you talk and maybe tell them what to say.
Yeah, well, I disagree with that a little bit, Philip, and here's why. Go back and listen to what James Franklin from Penn State, they asked him, what's the difference between being great and elite? And he said it's the details. And he literally said some of the same things. He didn't say to tuck the shirt in, but he said taking notes. And the point is, it's the attention to detail. Everybody does the big things. Every team does the big things. Every team wants to win. But it's the team who can discipline themselves to do it, Philip, when it's not kosher. And you're saying don't say it publicly?
No, say that. Say we're dealing with the details. Don't say we're going to zip our pants up and tuck our shirts in and not wear our caps backwards. Be careful what you say.
Yeah. All right.
You can say we pay attention to the details. Don't go crazy.
All right, thanks. And I'm going to kind of hit that really quick here with the encouragement moment of the week. I don't have much time, so I'll make it quick. But in my book, The Encouragement Factor, I actually use a chapter to talk about what the scriptures say about encouragement. And King David is one of the favorite stories that I have. And if you get the book, you can find it in chapter 18, what the scriptures say about encouragement. It's a story of King David when he came back to Ziklag and the whole camp had been destroyed and they had taken off his wife and his kids and all the other men's wife and kids. And it was so bad that they wanted to stone King David. The people he led, he had failed. Okay. The people he was leading, he had failed them. And it says, and David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of the people was grieved, every man for his son and for his daughters. And David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. And here's the question I have for this team. Who's the encouragers out there? And sometimes people think encouragement is sunshine pumping and all that. No, I sometimes you encourage people by saying, hey man, I know it's been tough and you can do this, and we need you to step up. Sometimes you go to people and say, listen, if you don't do this, we're going to fail. And I know that it's in you. So get up and step up and man up. So it's both and. And so for me as a believer, there are times where I'm frustrated. I'm going through a tough transition, even in my personal career. And I've had to live on this scripture the last few weeks because things aren't going as fast as I would like for them to go. So I've had to encourage myself while also bringing other people in to encourage. Will the captains, as Q06 said, as Philip said, are the captains on this team encouraging each other? Or you in your Christian walk? Where do you go for encouragement? It's like we came out of COVID and so many Christians went away from God instead of to God. So today I want to invite you, just like I'm inviting Alabama, learn to encourage yourself. For us as believers, we need to encourage ourselves in the Lord. For a football team that's struggling, you need to encourage each other, encourage yourself, then learn to encourage, then learn to encourage others. The reason I think this team struggles with this is because parents, we have given these kids everything and they've never learned how to fight. They need to learn how to fight. And if you learn how to fight, then you can also learn how to encourage. Man, I wish I had more time to break this message down. Go check out the book, The Encouragement Factor. Give me one more inch. Can I get one more inch out of you, Alabama? On Saturday, if we do, Alabama take care of Mizzou. We'll be back tomorrow for more of the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide, everybody.